Welcome to D71 TV, and today I have the honors to interview Jean, the International Director of Region 10. Welcome, Jean.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all doing well, and again, it's an honor to interview you because, well, most of the time we use Zoom, but now we are meeting face to face. What is, well, let's say rare. Jean, before we're gonna talk about your journey about how to become the Region 10 International Director, where did your Toastmaster journey start?
Well, I joined Toastmasters in 2006, and back then my club, Tame Speakers, was part of District 71, where we are today. Since then, we've become two districts, but I feel like I was born in Toastmasters in District 71, so I feel like I'm home with it.
Right, and your first, let's say, officer's role, what was your first officer's role?
My first role in Toastmasters was VP PR, and I had never done PR before, but my club let me pick, and I picked that because it just sounded so interesting and exciting. So I had such great fun. I got involved in setting up the club website and doing flyers for our 25th anniversary and doing PR outside the club and getting things into doctors' waiting rooms and all sorts of things. A whole new world for me. I had an absolute ball.
And after your VPPR role, what do you do? What was your next officer role?
Well, about 3/4 of the way into my time as VPPR, I was having a conversation with one of the other club officers and said, Jean, we think it'd be really good if you would be VPE. I thought, VPE, wow, that sounds like big and complicated. And he went, yeah, no, you'd be great. And I went, oh, okay then. And then he said, and you do realize that normally in our club, if you do VPE, then you're president the next year. And I kind of fell over and, had an inside wilting as I thought of the prospect of being club president. But that opportunity and their belief in me really, really meant the world to me. It really boosted my confidence. And I just loved doing VPE and then club president after that. It's just brilliant.
Yes. So I know with VPE, I know it's a really intensive job, or let's say an intensive role.
Yeah.
And I know that when you grow within Toastmasters, you find out that, for example, being a president is different than you already mentioned VPPS. So your next journey, so you became VPE, and then afterwards you had another different role, that leads you then indirectly to International Director.
Yeah.
And what do you need to become an International Director?
International Director requires an attitude towards being open to understanding the whole organization. It requires, enough experience in the business world to be able to kind of lead in a corporate space and to be able to be a steward of a global organization. And it also requires the kind of open-mindedness that allows you to enter a board space and be able to be in conversation with others and to be ready to hear different views and to be persuaded of different views. So as an international director, there's something about a confidence, but also an openness.
Right. And of course, as if we go a little more in detail of your role, so as an international director, what is your role for the district, or for, let's say, for the region 10? What is your specific role?
So the way we describe it is, I am from Region 10, but I'm for the whole world. So that means that, I'll be at our conference, for example, and I'll be connecting with and supporting leaders within our region across Europe. But I'm also needing to be really thinking about the whole world, because the decisions that we make affect everyone. And that requires a lot of thought, a lot of judgment, a lot of checking, because something that might work in Europe isn't necessarily going to work in India or in Illinois. So we have to be able to look at that whole world.
And, and also, if let's say one of the Toastmasters who are watching now wants to become the international director, what are the norms? What do they need to follow?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a practical thing that in order to be an international director, you need to have served as a district director. So I guess there's two sides to that answer. There's the path that you take to become a district director, and then there's the path from district director to international director. So the taking on responsibilities within the district develops our leadership skills and our understanding of Toastmasters. So taking on lots of responsibilities within the district. So that you're doing PR, for example, on behalf of our district. That's an amazing learning experience. And you have all sorts of things that you might be able to do with that knowledge. And if you wanted to move forward in Toastmasters, then your opportunity is to build on that knowledge and to get into club building, do club growth director, for example, focusing on education, PR manager, and then district director. So depending on where you are within the district and your experience within the district and your experience of leadership in the outside world, that will determine some of your path. And there's something about looking at the competencies for these roles to understand where the strengths are and where the areas for growth are. And then perhaps take on roles that build on the strengths and also allow the areas for development to grow. So then beyond that, there are all sorts of routes from district director to international director. Some people will finish their district director year, go for election, and end up serving on the board straight away. Some people will do other roles. I know some people who served as a regional advisor and have developed some knowledge and developed their own leadership skills through that in the international space. I personally ran some election campaigns for other people and served on the International Leadership Committee and ran a working group on behalf of the CEO. So I grew my experience in the middle space, I would say, in the international space, and then I felt ready to serve as international director. And fortunately enough, people agreed with me.
So I'm going to ask you a personal question, because what are you doing outside of Toastmasters?
Well, I am a lecturer in the Open University, and that's not where I was when I started in Toastmasters. When I started in Toastmasters, I was leading change programs in different organizations, and actually through the confidence that I gained in Toastmasters, I also did freelance work that I would never have had the courage to do before I joined Toastmasters. But in Toastmasters, I kind of got the education bug. I love delivering training and running workshops, and therefore when the opportunity came for me to teach in the Open University, I found that was a place for me, because I just love educating people, and it allows me to build on my knowledge and experience from other places, but also to continue my training.
Fantastic. Well, before we go, what would be your advice for a Toastmaster that's watching now and want to grow within Toastmasters?
I would say do as much as you can, contribute as much as you can, look out for those opportunities to support and help. When you get involved and you support and help, you'll be asked to do more. And of course there's a limit to the amount of things. There are only so many hours in a day. But to the extent to which you can make the time for something that is going to help you grow and hopefully help you grow the energy that you have to do more and more, then I say yes. And when you take those opportunities, you find a way within reason to do more in Toastmasters, I believe that it pays back time and time again.
So always take opportunities.
Always take opportunities. So as somebody who has a habit of taking on more opportunities than she has the time for,
yes,
I do qualify it. So you do need to make sure that if you take on a role, you're making a promise. So do think about how you're going to be able to make a contribution. Maybe you can do half the role, maybe you can share it with the team, but find a way to contribute within the capacity that you have. And I actually believe that the more you do in terms of the things that give you energy, it actually creates capacity. so it doesn't feel like work. So getting that balance, I believe, offers huge opportunity.
So, well, Jane, thank you very much for being my guest. And again, I'm absolutely honored, and our district, 71, is also honored to have you. So thank you very much.
You're absolutely welcome. And bye.